In this tutorial, we're going to work a little bit with forms. It's also very much needed that you are capturing data on your website in order to start automations, just for example, a simple newsletter subscription or any other form you might need. So let's create one. It's under components and assets. Let's add the new form. Now, this is similar to the emails. We have a campaign form and standalone form. Which one is which one? Well, campaign form is typically something where you start a campaign, meaning other actions right after filling out the form. For example, I fill out the form, give me something in return immediately, or something should happen immediately after I completed the form. A standalone form is just like collecting data. It can be, for example, a newsletter subscription. If you don't start an automation right after that, then you would choose a standalone form. Let's just make one right now. Forms look like this. Here we're gonna give a name, so we're gonna call it newsletter. I'm gonna call it the t-shirt newsletter, okay? Oops, t-shirt newsletter. You could add here more attributes which would completely change the look and feel of the form, but that's not the topic of this tutorial. Next thing we have to set up, what happens if there is a successful submit action? Are we remaining at the form? Are we redirecting our contact to another URL, or we displaying a message? So redirect to another URL would be something like, go to this page after successful submission. It can be on your website, it can be also within Mautic, whatever you want. You can also display a message, simply, thank you for subscribing. Let's look at the fields. These are the fields in the form. And with this drop down, you can add more fields. Right now, we have only one submit button. So if you look at it, it looks like this. It says submit. You can also add attributes if you want, but as a default, no attributes, just submit. So let's give a name. Now, here's the thing. You have to think like a developer a little bit. You are not adding here first name and last name. You are adding a text field, because a text field will hold your first name and last name. So here we need to specify the type of our field, and this gives us a lot of opportunity to create awesome forms. You will be learning about these in the next installment of this tutorial. So we will add the text field, which will be our first name. Okay, we will show this label and save the result. We can also have a help message like, for example, hey, you have to fill this out. Or an input placeholder, like you just write here, Joe. In the next step, you can connect this field with a field in friendly. So you can say that this, whatever someone fills it out, should be saved as a first name. Obviously, first name is a first name. We can have validation too, to set up, like, for example, this is required. We will do this with an email. We can give also field attributes. This is for design and behavior. And we're gonna cover this also a little bit later. But first name is a text field. Let's add it. Okay, let's add our last name too. And you would wanna type here last name, but no, we need to use a text field. It's gonna be last name. We connect it with the last name field in our Mautic. And the third one will be email. And email is actually a field because it's gonna look for an email field. And it's automatically connected with the email data in Mautic. Now for validation, we're gonna do this required, and we will say email address is required. So if someone doesn't fill it out, then we will automatically campaign, hey, this is required. Okay, we leave these. Okay, so we have our first form, and we have one more thing here. What we could do, we could decide what happens after someone filled out this form. So we can change to company score, adjust the points. We can modify the contact segment, so we can right away push someone into a segment if we want to. We can add tags, which is super cool. Like, for example, you add the newsletter tag, or someone interested in, I don't know, mining Bitcoin tag. You can also record some UTM tags, remove a contact from a do not contact list. That's very useful if this is a newsletter subscription, someone unsubscribed and this is their way to come back, then you would do this action. Download an asset. This is when you want to give out, for example, a PDF in exchange of an email address. They fill it out immediately, the asset is downloaded. You don't need to do anything else. It's pretty awesome. You can post the results to another form. So unless you know what posting a form is, don't use this. But if you know, then I don't have to explain to you. This is pretty cool. So you capture the data here and post it in another form, maybe in another format or whatever. You can also push a contact to an integration. So Mautic can integrate with many CRMs or I don't know, SMS providers or whatever, and this would be the integration you use here. Send an email to a contact and send an email to user. So contact is a person who just filled out this form. You can send them an email, hey, thank you for filling out the form. Send the user is like, hey, that dude filled out the form, so you should call him. Or for example, you create a contact me, like a contact form. Then you would send an email to user, and in that case that user would be yourself, and it would send an email, hey, someone filled out your form, this is what they wrote, reply to them. And you can also send the form results to someone. So whatever they filled out, it right away goes. So we're not going to do any of these. We are just going to make sure that someone subscribes. Since this is a newsletter subscription, I think I will modify the tags. And this will be add the tag newsletter. This is just for me that I know. And here I can add the tag newsletter. That's newsletter in this case. I could also remove tags if I wanted to, but I don't. And if you like to document stuff, you could write here what you're exactly doing. But for now, it will be add tag newsletter. Cool. We will not worry about anything else here because this is not the point. It will come up in later tutorials. But now at least you know how to create your first form. So let's save it. And we can test it out right away by coming here, go to the preview, and we have the mockup of our form. We will create here, it's gonna be Peter Venkman. It's gonna be Peter at ghostbusters.com and submit the form. So if I go back, you see this is the success message, what I was talking about. And if I go back here now to the results, then I will see that Peter Venkman filled out my form. He has a new contact here. So here's the new contact ID. We also see that he was identified by our t-shirt newsletter, and he has our tag as well. So it's a real contact. We can start sending new information to him. So this is how you create a simple form, and in the next tutorial we will learn how to add this form, how to embed this form into a website. Okay, so let's embed our freshly created form in a website. So I have a website here that looks like this. It's just a one-pager, nothing special, just a demo site. Okay, so I want to add here our form. This is the HTML code. See, I have my tracking script inside, and it's really simple. What I want to do is here I'm gonna add our form instead of this. Try demo, we're gonna have a form here. So let's go back to our instance and open up the form. And here right away we see how information. It's really simple to place it. You can do automatically by using a JavaScript or an iframe. Actually, I recommend you to use the JavaScript, or you can manually copy it. So this goes on the top, this goes in the bottom. This includes all the CSS what you need. But if you do it automatically here using this JavaScript, then you don't have to worry about the design, because once you change the design, it will automatically change here too. So I will remove this button from here and add my form, which will be form 37, and that's correct. This is our form 37. If you look at it here, form 37. And right now we have one result here. Cool. Okay, so let's go back. Let's save this, copy it to our server. And let's go back to our page. This will disappear once I reload. Exactly, and you see, here I have the first name already. So let's do Joey test t-shirt and t-shirt at standard.hu. Submit it. And I right away get the thank you for subscribing, which is pretty cool because that's what we wanted. Let's see if everything arrives how we planned. So let's refresh this one. And our Joey is already there. Really cool. And we will see that he filled out this t-shirt newsletter here.